Hey everyone, welcome back to the Smiling Homeschooler Podcast. We're glad you can join us. Before we begin, we just want to say thank you to Teaching Textbooks for making this all possible. They're an amazing math curriculum, and now that the school year is over, if you're needing to make adjustments in math, you should check them out for next year over at teachingtextbooks.com. We really appreciate their support. Also, thank you to Samaritan Ministries and Redeem Health Share, where members are committed to honoring Christ and serving one another through healthcare needs. As Dad likes to say, we use, love, and recommend Samaritan Ministries, and you can learn more in the show notes or in the comments about Redeem Health Share by Samaritan Ministries, and we really appreciate their support. But Dad, if you're ready to go ahead and get started, let's go.
Okay, well, I was just outside just a few minutes ago hosing down a boat, trying to clean up our 1978 Boston Whaler, which is aquamarine inside. And when you look at it, you just feel happy. But I just feel like I'm going, I was up, like this morning outside about 7:30, doing something outside, cleaning something, because I feel like we're in this race to get ready for summer. And it's like, I can almost see the finish line out there at the end.
Seriously.
Ben's out there doing his pool, which looked pretty much like a sewage treatment plant 3 days ago. And now it looks kind of blue.
Did you see it today? It's blue.
I saw it this morning.
Not crystal, but it's getting there. I actually was shocked. One night, and it was pretty much all the black was gone. So I was
Were there any squirrels in it this year?
Once I uncovered it, within the next day, 2 fell in and died, but not like from the winter.
Yeah.
So
that is just so shocking to me that obviously I would guess that they had been used to scampering across it or something, and now all of a sudden it's gone. I don't know.
It is weird.
I mean, they don't go in the rest of the summer. It's only when you first warm up, right?
They do sometimes,
occasionally,
but very infrequently.
I think Jed saved one last year. That was.
I'm more worried they'll just rip up my liner because they've they scratched the sides and stuff like that.
We had squirrels dig up bulbs. Have you ever had that happen, Dad?
Yeah, they'll do that.
They they literally just dug little holes and threw them out in the grass.
Yeah, they'll do that.
That's crazy.
Well, I think it's funny because I saw in Babylon Bee that the headline was wife demands that her husband get rid of the bunny rabbits that have taken or living in their house, and then yells at him for being inhumane to them. Why would you hurt them? And I'm like, that's the life of a dad. Hey, but I thought, because it does feel like summer. Yesterday, we made the field trip to Dollar General. I took a couple of the grandkids, they wanted so badly to go to Dollar General. So we all went to Dollar General. And last time we were at Dollar General, Addie, Catherine's daughter, said, "It's so pretty inside." I'm like, wow, she needs to get out more.
She probably hasn't been in a Dollar General except for with you guys.
But we were looking at things that we could. I feel like I am easier. I thought, we'll go in and maybe get a box of ice cream bars or something like that. What I ended up getting was devil dogs, and we'll talk about those in just a second. But Minnie's we brought $20 worth of junk while you were in there. And I'm like,
they have played with that junk all day today. That pinwheel has gotten a lot of good use.
My own kids, I would have said, there's a stick in the yard, go get it. But now that it's our grandchildren, we get him a bubble wand that he doesn't even care about. He dropped it as we were leaving.
Hey, no, those bubbles are really good. We don't have any bubbles that last like that. I was impressed. So
if I was ever made the dad czar of the United States, I would outlaw all bubbles, and they, unless they came in the wedding kind of thing where they're 1 ounce bubbles, but when they come in the 1 gallon bubbles, it's just a disaster. Okay, so thinking about the devil dogs, because I only even considered buying them, and I did buy a box because they were in the Wreck-It Ralph when he goes to Candy Crush, King Candy's, whoa-wee-oh, and the wolves the hounds are these devil dogs. But on the box, it says they were celebrating their 100th birthday.
Wow.
And I had never heard about them, and Mom had never heard about them. They're similar to a Suzuki, but I was thinking, and I did eat half of one, and it was delicious. But I was thinking, So, we're talking about summer, and I'm thinking about the ice cream truck. In fact, I was just looking up the best ice cream trucks in the country, and I was thinking, what is your favorite not go to, what would be your favorite summer? Not, don't say watermelon or something like that. That just sounds too organic. Favorite thing that comes in a package and has a shelf life of 10 to 20 years.
It has to come in a package. You can't make it. Tell me that.
No, you can't make it. It's got to
Well,
come
Well, I
in
was
like,
gonna
like
say
there's a
those
couple of things you can
creamsicle
make.
floats.
Oh,
what?
You remember those creamsicle floats?
Yeah,
That's like
but again, it
vanilla
sounds
ice
so
cream and
homeschoolish, just like we love
Anything
churning
creamsicle
ice
then.
cream and picking
No,
blueberries and things
I was
like
gonna say
that.
those fruit American flag things are good. Like where you make it out
Pizza?
of either pizza or there's
yeah.
they used to actually make like a cake where they'd put like the blueberries, strawberries
Oh,
on it.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
By they, you mean me? Every year
I mean,
for my
not
whole life.
not my
Okay,
whole
that's
life. You
that-
didn't make it when as a kid. You would have been 3.
No, okay, those don't count. It's got to be ice cream, prepackaged or
creamsicle.
made at anything creamsicle. Okay.
I mean, I don't feel like I know of necessarily go to, but I'd say like probably during the summer it would be just a flavor ice or whatever like push up kind of deal and take the top off. I don't really. I mean, I don't think I
Push
get
up.
anything
Oh
else.
man, I'd never do
No,
a push up.
just like a flavor ice,
like a flavor ice.
popsicle,
Oh, you
know?
said push up.
Freeze
Like where you
pop or
push it
whatever.
up, like you have to
Okay.
squeeze the bottom and, just your standard cheap, Aldi thing. I don't feel like I have very many other things that I'm like, ooh, it's summer now. I got to go get this. But never opposed to Diet Coke. So, that's always that's eternal.
Yeah, that you don't have to.
gosh.
That's all year. That's
Yeah.
all year round.
Yeah.
But they are better when you're hot.
Did you have an answer?
No, I mean, I would probably pick like a Mr. Misty from Dairy Queen. They got rid of the old Mr.
Okay.
Misty, the cherry Mr. Misty filled with red dye, which is heavenly. And maybe if you turn it into Mr. Misty float, which then they just put like a dollop of vanilla ice cream inside,
Ice cream.
not smish it all together. Because if you smish it together, I think it's called a freeze. But when you just have a float, it's so good.
I'd actually say Dole Whip at the zoo. Our zoo in Fort Wayne, Indiana, has Dole Whip there, which is like a kind of known as a Disney thing, but super good. It's pineapple soft serve ice cream, and that's something if I'm feeling generous
that's
for
good.
myself, I'll grab some. It doesn't happen very often. But one of the things that I do actually like about summer is I was out running today during lunch, and there's kids outside playing, and there's there was like a grandma with some kids doing like a picnic next to like a a neighborhood pond, and it's just fun seeing kids outside playing. And so I was thinking, well, hopefully most people are wrapping up the school year or have already wrapped up and are done. So we thought we'd kind of split this into two. One is, what's it look like for the younger kids, now that school's wrapping up and, summer's out, and then the after kids graduate time. But Dad, maybe you'd want to, kind of launch us in from there.
Yeah. So because we're going to assume that you're going to take some kind of break during summer, not just, even if you're doing, year-round school, you should take breaks. I hope you're taking a lot of them. But summer just feels like it should be something different. And I just wondered what some of those different things are. Like, I know your kids went to the zoo today, Ben.
Yep.
I've mentioned in the past about a mom who was in South Dakota, and she made a poster board of 100 things she was going to do during the summer. And they had checked off like, I don't know, 50 or 60 of them. And, at first glance, 100 is a lot. But it was pretty simple things. They were like sidewalk chalk outside and, or splash in the puddles. And they were, and I just thought it was so intentional. And I thought, maybe that'd be kind of a fun conversation to have. I know, Catherine, you're the planner of the bunch. Do you have things planned that you want to accomplish? I know if my sister-in-law Dawn was listening right now, she always feels like, she has to accomplish something, or she's a wastrel, you know.
Yeah,
So,
they're coming up to ride the Dixie. Did you hear about that?
no, yeah, I heard that.
I feel like on our list, the zoo is always a classic. We want to go to the dunes. My kids haven't ever really done a beach, and the dunes is kind of a like Midwest beach.
That's
So we want
pretty
to do
amazing.
that. I mean, it's feels a lot safer. Nothing that can eat you, and the dunes are fun themselves. So we're gonna try to do that. I feel like we just try to do like more of the easy fun things. So like a trip to the park in the evening and we'll grab ice cream afterwards, or meet Josh at the park for lunch, or walk the trails, or that kind of thing. Just try to be more like intentional with the little things. We'll do some of the bigger like day trips too, but I feel like the little things are sometimes where the best memories are made, like trips to Dollar General with Minnie and Pops on the golf cart.
Yep. I mean, I
Probably
like to
be at your
more
house a
think
lot
about
too.
things that we'll do and then never do them primarily. That's kind of what we try to shoot for. And we did talk about this last week. We did an episode kind of on the memories that really stick. And Dad, mentioned the bucket list. And I see someone in our comments here just said they have a big list of summer bucket lists they do. We were talking with friends that like when we get our pool open, we'll have people over and have a swimming night. Last year we did I got a, cheap $20 screen from Walmart, and we watched a movie outside one night, with just a cheapo projector, and it was really fun. So things like that I think are great. I will say I do just think, especially if you're in a colder climate, playing outside, I think is just such a formative thing for our kids. I mean, we've had Jenny Urich on from 1,000 Hours Outside, and I mean that's her whole premise is just how critical it is for kids to just be able to be outside and just spend time doing stuff. So this evening we were at my in-laws for my mother-in-law's birthday party, and just having the kids, they were running around for literally like an hour and a half just playing horses or something, and butting each other, and I mean they were laughing hysterically, just them playing. And I think just allowing them to have that free time to do that is so fun and important, and something that you can only get if you do actually take breaks. And I get if you're in Florida, it's harder to do that. Maybe you do take longer breaks other times during the year, but I think just as our family, a big goal is just to play. The other thing I want to do is I do want to take some kind of short
Staycation.
no, short trips somewhere. So I'd really like to get down to we have in Dayton, Ohio, there's a huge the United States Air Force Museum. I think the kids would think that's cool, with just giant airplanes and stuff, and it's free. Or we've talked about going to the Creation Museum or the Ark down in Cincinnati area, and stuff like that. So we'd like to do something like that. We just have to decide what. But
you guys also did a Yes Day type of thing last year, didn't you? Where you did your whole summer bucket list in one day.
Yeah, pretty much, which ended up being Kids Day actually. So we did slept out in the tent, got an ice cream truck, I think somehow worked out. We went into the zoo, I think in the morning. We went to the water park in the afternoon and just knocked them all out. So that was really fun.
That was super fun.
And I think
well, what about that? What about
the
the struggle? Because there's a struggle between, I know Mom always felt it, and maybe Kat feels it, and Ben probably feels it, about trying to get things done versus playing with your kids or going on those things. Because going to Cincinnati or going to the zoo, or I mean, especially on the weekends, you think, I don't want to give up the whole weekend to go do that. And I know there's a lot of guilt. I know Mom feels that sometimes when she would work on a project because she thought, I need to be doing something else. And I wonder if that's a self-inflicted pain, because Ben, you already mentioned, when our kids, some of the best time is just playing outside. I mean, as a kid, I remember making forts in the bushes in front of our house. I remember, playing outside. Honestly, I don't remember my parents being involved in any of that.
Probably weren't.
I just played, and I just sometimes think that nowadays, there's so much guilt that moms and dads carry, that especially moms, that, I've got to organize something, or I've got to be involved in every single of the 100 bucket lists. And I don't think they need to be involved. We all need to be involved in those. I think some of the greatest times is just when you let your kids figure it out.
Hmm. I kind of wonder if, because I've seen a lot like on social media, the moms who are like working moms, their kids go to school, and then over the summer they have this like huge pressure to like fill up all their kids' time. Summer camps, VBS. Some moms like will just send their kids to one after the other, just for childcare or whatever. But I kind of wonder if that's like infiltrated the homeschool community a little bit, because you kind of start to feel like, is my kid missing out? They're not doing soccer camp, or they're not doing, all their friends' churches VBSs too, or do I need to send them to a summer camp, And there's just maybe more pressure kind of even from other like communities and just how they're doing their family, that you feel like my kids are going to miss out if it doesn't look fancy. But yeah, your childhood or our childhood wasn't necessarily fancy. I mean, Jenny has that book, I think, called like Until the Streetlights Come On. Like that was the whole premise. Like you stayed outside until the streetlights came in, and then you went home for dinner. And I don't know. I kind of wish we could reclaim some of that.
Yeah. I mean, that's
as long as they're in bed by 8:00.
Yeah, exactly. Which during the streetlights during the summer, that's like 10:30. But
that's true.
Way too long. That is way too long.
Yeah. I was saying to Dad and Kat right before this, I started a book called The Anxious Generation, and it's literally talks exactly about this topic. And he's not at all from anything that would be, kind of in our worldview, but he advocates strongly. He's a psychologist or something like that, for that kids just need time, even in this day and age where it's the safest it's ever been, but the parents are the most fearful of danger they've ever been, to let kids just play, because it is so valuable. And I definitely sympathize with that. But real quick here, we want to say thank you to Teaching Textbooks and all their support of what we do. As the school year is over and you're thinking about next year, if math just wasn't working for you, or if you were having frustration or your kid was getting frustrated, I'd really encourage you to check out Teaching Textbooks. And I'm not just saying that just because I know we say this every week, but I really do hope people listen and do check them out, because they are just an amazing math curriculum. They have a free trial. You can check it out and see if you like it. It's engaging. I learned extremely well with it because I had to interact with it and experience using it, not just listen to something and then hopefully I just remembered how to do it and then I could replicate it after that. So go support them at teachingtextbooks.com.
Hey, and we also want to thank Redeem Health Share of Samaritan Ministries for making today's show possible. Part of being a parent is making sure everyone is taken care of when medical emergencies happen. And everyone knows that summer tends to bring those things up. But don't sweat it, because being members of Redeem gives you peace of mind when it comes to the unexpected medical burdens. So you can enjoy the summer with your family. So check them out today at redeemhealthshare.org, or the link in the show notes below. But even as we were just talking, Ben, I just got a text from a dad who I don't even know if I've ever met him in person, but he just said, "Oh, Todd, I just saw the first lightning bug of the season." And which just is a reminder that once you see them, you need to take care of them. I think that's kind of the secret to all of summer, is the longer you put it off, the more likely it won't happen. You got to kind of strike while the lightning bugs are shining.
I actually saw something. I don't know if this is true. It seemed like it's true, but I don't know if it'll actually happen. But they were saying lightning bugs, they actually believe could theoretically might go extinct within our lifetime.
I saw that.
Because of
last
just
year,
a lot of areas are very, very rare now. And because of like how much light there is and everything else, like they just are not, they're dying out in a lot of areas. So if you do live in an area that has lightning bugs, which we have a lot of them, you never know. Maybe take advantage of them.
And one of the great activities is taking a tennis racket and squashing them. And since they're on their way out anyway.
So now, the other thing that happens right now is graduation. And, we had a bunch of, we went to a graduation party on Saturday or Sunday night. And, that's always a fun time. But for the parents out there who did just have a kid, what? You're saying it wasn't that did have a child graduating. I guess, what is your mom and dad or your guys' approach been to what do we do now? Maybe it's, with the kid who just turned 18 or whatever, and they're just now graduating. What's the next step look like?
Well, I know that I hear a lot of parents kind of worry about this. I know Mom and I, we've had this conversation for a couple years with our youngest two, Cal and Jed. Cal graduated last year. Jed graduates next year. But Jed's 18. He just got a job. He's going to work at a golf course. He has to be there at I think he leaves our house at 6 o'clock. That's kind of the rule. You leave your
Better
home
for
at
him.
6 o'clock to get there. But I know we've kind of gone back and forth. Mom's always worried, he doesn't have enough time and doesn't have enough stuff to fill his time. So we need to give him a job. But I don't want to know if he should have a job, and we go back and forth, back and forth. And I think a lot of moms feel that way. Like, should I get him a job or should I, let, and I'll tell you just my little 2 bits is I want my kids to be kids as long as they can be kids. Doesn't mean they can't have jobs. But I don't want them to think, oh, it's over now. And if Jed hadn't taken a job, we went back and forth. I'm like, I'm good, honey. If he just wants to hang around, I think he should be busy, and I'll have him cut grass and do projects for me. And he plays with his nieces and nephews and goes golfing twice a week.
Living the dream life, really.
I think that's okay.
Yeah.
But I know for a lot of us, we kind of feel that pressure again that they've got to do something productive once they hit that.
Mm-hmm.
And, they're going to have lots of productive years. And so I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I'm going to not push back, but I'm going to kind of just say or ask, I guess, follow-up question is, I guess, what point do they need? Because I do, like, they are, if they're not, especially if they're not going to college, they are kind of moving into the next stage of life. Like that is kind of the next period of like, okay, I need to start thinking about like, how am I going to, eventually provide for someone, or you do need to start having, I think experiences are super valuable eventually down the road as you start getting into, working and stuff like that. And I also think you grow and learn a lot in those that period of time where you actually have to, show up on time and do something that's not always fun and listen to someone and deal with customers who aren't happy or whatever it may be. I think those are extremely valuable skills that, as you get into like real life of everything else. So at what point do you think there should be some expectation of like, okay, you may not have to leave or anything immediately. It's not like, all right, you're 18, go get your own apartment. But where that needs to start seeing that, or if you're not seeing it, you might need to start pushing.
I don't know when that age is, but I think it was interesting how you asked it. You said if you're not going to college, because really going to college sometimes is just a putting off.
Right.
It's really just
Totally.
You have no responsibility. You don't have to grow up. You're just going and you're going to go play for 4 years. And I know that sounds harsh, but that's what it is.
I remember when Josh and I were dating, I remember being like, I've been working for like 4 years and you're just now like, he had some like part-time jobs because he went to college, and he was just like starting out and all that.
Yeah. And I think, and everybody's okay with that. They're like, oh yeah, you're doing something, you're going to college, and they're okay with that. I never think that it would just be okay to sit around watching TV during the day, or just.
But if Jed was busy with golf for the next 4 years, I don't think you'd be thinking that's busy in terms of, okay. So I'm saying like, obviously just the playing is you're not staying home just to play at home,
Yet.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm not. Jed's not a great example. I'm just saying that age range is usually the, is that age.
Well, and I feel like for our family, everyone did it differently too. Like you and Ike, I think, were like kind of chomping at the bit. You wanted to get a job before you graduated. You were anxious to get out there. Like I was not. Maggie and I were not. Like probably Sam maybe too. I think it just looks different for some kids. I don't think you ever had to force any of us to get a job, but I think some were more eager to get it than others, and I think that was always okay.
Yeah. And I think that's the job of the parent. The parent is supposed to know that, again, I think there's a lot of pressure. We feel like, because we hear other people say, oh, they're 18, still don't have a job or whatever. I think there are a lot of opportunities that may not be a job. Maybe it's, helping someone out. Maybe it's, watching somebody else's kids or being a nanny. There are a lot of those things that are opportunities. And, I know people would say, oh, your son stayed so long. I'm like, they were contributors. Not only did they have jobs, they were contributors to what we did. And it wasn't like they were just couch potatoes. And
playing video games in your basement.
Playing video games in our basement. Yeah, they weren't. But I think parents need to know And I always say about Jed, he's a young 18. We've had kids who were old 18s when they were 18, because they felt like they wanted to move on. They feel like they were ready to go do something. And so I think that's the job of the parent to kind of know that. But I think you don't have to feel the weight of what other people do to influence you.
And I do am a strong believer too of, and I think, a lot of people probably agree with it, know this already as well, but I don't think, I was one of those kids that didn't know the career, from the first moment. It's like Sam, he's been pretty focused on like, this is what I want to do and I'm going to do it, and he's
like
just
10.
Just.
And
been
I remember Ben
towards
even
that.
saying, I wish I could be like Sam.
Right.
Like I knew. But go ahead.
It feels like a lot of people just have this is my thing and I'm just going to do my thing and, this is what I'm doing. And actually that's not true. As I've gotten older, I don't really know anyone that is hardly that way, but a lot of people think in high school or in college age, you're like, well, this is what I'm going to go do. And I did not have this like clear picture of what that was. But so I do think that just starting and working and doing something, even if it's just a lame job that you don't really enjoy. One, I do believe you can be excellent at even the worst job. That was something that always bothered me, is that when, I'd have coworkers who are like, this is just a worthless job. And I'm like, well, then why are you bad at the worthless job? Why don't you be good at what we're doing? It's like, I'm doing the best I can. And that you get, I genuinely think, even if it's not financial reward, you will have reward in terms of notice, in terms of, I think it's more godly in terms of like doing your best to whatever you're trying to do, but also just, I think it's more rewarding for yourself. And then things just happen. I mean, opportunities will arise, doors will close. I think God will direct you and you will, realize more clearly what you do and don't like as you start working in something. And so I don't really think it matters if it's just not the ideal thing right off the bat, personally.
And again, a little plug for our book, Help I Have Adult Children. And this is a great thing, a great little easy book to read that talks about exactly this. When, the baton is handed off, what do we do? So you can check that out on our website. And it's easy read. So I think that's a good place to stop. Anybody else have any other comments?
I was just going to say, I feel like you and Mom did a good job of like giving us the ability to make those decisions, but also walking with us through it. I think, like, speaking of the baton, I think you can either control it and obsess over every last minute. Who are they going to be working with? What are the hours? What's the environment? What are they going to be doing? Is this going to be helpful to their future? But I think you can also err on the other side of like, well, they're 18. They got to make these decisions. I'm kind of hands off, going to just let them make all these mistakes or let them have a miserable summer or whatever. And I think there's just a balance, and I think you guys hit that really well of just like helping us navigate that. You weren't taking over, but you were still involved, and I think that was really helpful for all of us.
I will say
because
though,
we were great parents
personally, and again, I know a mom very close to me. I won't say which mom it is, but there's a mom that's close to me that I think if your kid is struggling, I don't think it's a bad thing to not struggling in terms of like they're in danger or there's something actually really bad. Like it's okay to give them advice and be like, hey, you need to quit or whatever. But inserting themselves into that situation and trying to be the go-between, I do not think from a work standpoint, if someone's direct whatever, that would be a major thing. I personally think.
And what are you saying? Like
I've just seen like people where the mom will get involved and be like, hey, my son really, and I just do not think that is a good level of genuinely, like I've seen it multiple times, and I think you need to let your kid deal with getting yelled at the work and then quitting himself or whatever it is, like
that's
it's not your job at that point.
And they might even need to get fired to learn something,
maybe.
Or like Ben was up doing something when I was talking about this, but Jed has to get up super early tomorrow for his first day on the work.
I hadn't heard what he got. He got a job?
Yeah, he's got to work at the same golf course.
Oh, nice.
Counted. So he has to leave at 6 o'clock in the morning. And they're paying him so much, I can't believe it. My first job was $4 an hour. But he has to get up early, and he's worried that he's going to sleep through his clock. And he said, I'll probably get yelled at the first day. And I'm like, our job is not to wake up for him. and tap him on the shoulder. And go,
You set
"Dad, it's time to get
17
up."
alarms and you get there. That is
That's
like,
right.
oh, I've had so many conversations with like people over the years about like, that's not an excuse.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, that's
so
a good place to
funny.
stop.
Yep.
Go ahead,
Okay,
close
well,
us
that was
out,
quick.
Hunter.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us and being part of the Smiling Homeschooler. If you haven't before, you should please give us a review on whatever podcast app you listen on, or share it with another homeschooling mom. There's a lot out there who need encouragement, and there's a lot of things that are discouraging out there. So make sure you're being part of that community. Also, thank you to Teaching Textbooks for making what we do possible. Go support them. Tell them that we sent you over at teachingtextbooks.com. They're just an amazing math curriculum that helps more homeschoolers smile. And also, thank you to Samaritan Ministries and Redeem Health Share, where members are committed to honoring Christ and serving one another through healthcare needs. As Dad likes to say, we use, love, and recommend Samaritan Ministries, and you can learn more in the show notes about Redeem Health Share by Samaritan Ministries. But everyone have a great week. Don't forget to smile, and we'll see you next week.